I was found in a shopping mall in Florida. I was buying a pair of shoes and somebody stopped me and asked me if I wanted to be a model, so here I am.
This video is the next part of a conversation that I've been having on this channel. I did a video titled, Black Models Are Bald for One Reason and One Reason Only. And then another one called, Why the Fashion Industry Avoids Hiring Black Hairstylists. Now, I want to take this a step further and ask a bigger, much more uncomfortable question. Why are the only black models the industry pushes African? Why are black American women not really being seen at all? Because whether people want to admit it or not, something about the way black beauty is represented globally has definitely shifted, and it's not being discussed honestly. Let me make this clear from the beginning. This is not an attack on African women, African beauty, or international blackness. African women have every right to be represented and every right to work and make money and every right to shine. But what I'm about to say and what people instantly get uncomfortable about is that the fashion industry has practically erased black American beauty from the runway, from editorials, from the campaigns, from the global stage. We don't see black American women in those spaces anymore. We don't see their faces. We don't see their bone structure, their glam, their hair, their specific aesthetics. Somewhere along the line, designers, casting directors, and agencies decided that when they need a black model, they mean someone from the continent, not from America. And I want to talk about that openly right now. Because this isn't random. This isn't a coincidence. This is a shift with an intent. When we only see African models and not black American models, it creates a very specific narrative about what black beauty supposedly looks like and what it doesn't. And black American women are being shut out of an industry their culture helped build. That's the part people pretend they don't understand. Black American beauty is everywhere except in fashion. Influencing TikTok? Yes. Setting global beauty trends? Yes. Inspiring the world? Of course. But in the actual fashion industry that's supposed to showcase beauty, suddenly black American women disappear. The comments under my last video proved how real this is. People kept saying things like, well, internationally, black American women are intimidating, or people don't know how to classify black American beauty, or black Americans are mixed, so the world doesn't know how or where to place them. And now that I think about it, that's exactly the issue. Because what I want people to really understand is this. Everywhere else in the world, people get to choose what kind of black they are. People get to say, I'm Jamaican, not black, or I'm Nigerian, not black, or I'm Trinidadian, not black. They basically get to toggle back and forth depending on the convenience of the moment. Meanwhile, black Americans don't get that luxury. We don't get to turn blackness on and off. Our identity in this country has been defined by history, by law, by institutions, by the world, for us. We've never had the option to say, oh, I'm not black, I'm just American. That's not a choice we were ever given. So, how is it that the people who get to choose when they're black and when they're not suddenly become the face of global black beauty, while the people who were defined as black before they were even allowed to define themselves get erased from the very category that was built on their backs? How does that make sense? When did everyone become black but the black Americans? When did the world start rewriting definitions that have very real historical roots and very real cultural meaning? This is where the line gets blurry for me. Because if the rest of the world gets to have their identity, I'm Ghanaian, I'm Somali, I'm Congolese, I'm Dominican, I'm Brazilian, then why don't black Americans get to have ours? Why is our identity erased in global fashion when the influence of black American women is literally everywhere else? Why is the black American beauty good enough to emulate, imitate, and appropriate, but not good enough to cast on a runway? And nobody can say this is about talent or looks. Black American women created half of the beauty aesthetics the world copies today. The hair, the makeup, the nails, the silhouettes, the confidence. That comes from us. So why is it that the industry takes from black American beauty but refuses to credit, cast, or represent it? Why is it that when brands need blackness, they skip over the women who shape the global beauty conversation and instead choose women who fit a safer, more internationally neutral version of blackness? That's the real question we need to ask. And please, save it. Because this isn't about disliking African beauty. This isn't about gatekeeping representation. This is about recognizing the black American women who have been systematically removed from the fashion industry and replaced by a very curated, very specific version of blackness that fits the industry's current aesthetic preferences and political comfort zones. The industry is choosing what type of blackness feels palatable, editorial, and non-threatening, and it's erasing an entire lineage in the process. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because people misunderstand this conversation. They think I'm talking about culture. I'm not. They think I'm talking about social media representation. I'm not. They think I'm talking about who's popular or who's influencing beauty trends. I am not. I am specifically talking about high fashion, runway editorial, haute couture, campaigns, and magazines. And in that world, black American women are nowhere to be found. That's the problem. Not the everyday aesthetics we see on TikTok, not the trends we see walking down the street. I'm talking about the actual fashion industry that holds power over how beauty is defined globally. So in this video, I wanted to break down how we got here and why it matters, and what it says about how the world chooses to portray blackness and who gets erased in this process. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about models. This is about legacy, identity, and the right for Black American beauty to exist in the spaces we helped create. I'm your host, DJ Selby, and this is Cloud Negative 9, a hip-hop fashion channel exploring cultural narratives and the unspoken truths of the Black American experience within the global fashion industry. If you're into these kinds of conversations, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. It helps me push these stories forward and keep the dialogue going. All right, now, I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.